What if I told you that tonight in the heart of London something deeper than a protest is unfolding? What if I told you this isn't just about bills or budgets? It's about betrayal at the highest level of power. Because right now, outside the gates of Downing Street, thousands of ordinary Britons aren't chanting slogans. They're holding up their energy bills like evidence. They're not angry because they lost faith in politics. They're angry because politics lost faith in them. Good evening. This is Brit Alert News, where the story begins, not where it's told to end. And tonight, Britain stands at a breaking point. The crowds outside Westminster aren't just restless. They're relentless. Nurses still in scrubs, pensioners wrapped in blankets, small business owners holding signs that read, "We work." "We freeze. You feast." These are not agitators. These are the people who built this country, now demanding to know, what happened to the promises? 2 years ago, Keir Starmer took office on a wave of hope, pledging stability after years of turmoil. He called it a new era, one of compassion, honesty, and courage. But tonight, the same man who promised to put working families first is watching from behind closed blinds as those very families fill the streets. Because the truth is out, Britain's cost of living crisis isn't a coincidence. It's a consequence. Energy prices have more than doubled. Over 4 million homes now live in fuel poverty. And yet, while pensioners ration heating and parents choose between warmth and food, billions in green subsidies have flowed offshore to corporations who don't even pay British tax. Government ministers say it's all part of the transition to net zero. But transition for who? The rich are installing solar panels paid for by the taxpayer, while the poor sit in the dark, and here's where the scandal deepens. Insiders are calling it the election energy deal. Leaked documents reveal that several major energy companies funneled donations to campaign foundations tied to senior government advisors months before new contracts were signed. Contracts worth billions, approved without parliamentary oversight. That's not policy, that's payoff. Downing Street calls it progress. The British people call it what it is, corruption dressed as climate policy. When the Prime Minister stood before cameras last week and said, "The system is working," many at home laughed bitterly. Because for them, the system is working, just not for the people paying the bills. Outside number 10 tonight, you can hear it. The chants, the voices, the sound of democracy waking up. "Starmer must go," echoes through Whitehall, and for the first time, it's not just a chant. It's a verdict. Not from Parliament, but from the people. And while officials rush to control the narrative, social media is already flooded with footage of police pushing back crowds, of banners reading "Energy for the elite, cold for the common." One nurse, her voice shaking from exhaustion, told our reporter, "I save lives, but I can't afford to heat my home." Another, a retired veteran, simply said, "We defended this country once. Now we have to defend it again, from within." Inside the Commons, the government's response is defensive. The Energy Secretary called the protesters misinformed. The Climate Minister branded them useful idiots. But these so-called idiots are Britain's backbone: teachers, drivers, bakers, parents. People who believed the promises, voted for the change, and are now standing in the cold waiting for leadership that never came. And make no mistake, this protest isn't chaos. It's coordination. Across 12 cities tonight, from Manchester to Brighton, the same chant rings out, "We can't eat targets. We can't live on pledges." This is the sound of a movement that's grown too large to silence. The scandal doesn't stop at energy. Leaked memos from within Labour's strategy team reveal plans to delay election transparency reports until after the upcoming campaign launch, citing political stability concerns. In plain English, they want to hide the truth until it's too late. Senior aides are scrambling to contain the fallout, but the public's patience is gone. Even allies within Starmer's own party are breaking ranks. 3 Labour MPs have publicly demanded an emergency review of the contracts awarded to foreign green firms. One called it a betrayal of British workers and British trust. A conservative backbencher, unusually sympathetic, said, "We can't save the planet by freezing our own people to death." Tonight, the streets are louder than the speeches. The people aren't asking for miracles, they're asking for honesty. They're asking for the leaders they elected to stand with them, not above them. And yet, while the Prime Minister rehearses lines in a heated office, the public outside feels the cold truth. The government has run out of empathy, and the country has run out of patience. This isn't left or right anymore. It's top versus bottom. The people who live the consequences versus those who write the excuses. The quiet majority is no longer quiet. Britain isn't breaking, and it's awakening. And for the first time in years, power feels the tremor of the people rising. If you listen closely, you'll hear the future being written, not in policy documents or party slogans, but in chants echoing down Whitehall. We deserve better. No more lies. Starmer must go, because when leaders stop listening, people stop waiting. This is not a protest about energy anymore. It's a reckoning about trust, truth, and the kind of country Britain wants to be. And here's the question that will define the next election. Can a prime minister survive when the people stop believing in the system that put him there? The answer may come sooner than anyone in Downing Street is ready for. Because tonight, Britain isn't just cold. It's awake. And once a nation finds its voice, it never forgets how to use it. This is Brit Alert News. Stay with us, because the story isn't ending. It's just beginning. If you believe in truth over spin, in facts over fear, and in people over politics, then hit subscribe right now. Because what happens next, the leaks, the resignations, the election fallout, will define the next chapter of British history, and we'll be here to bring it to you. Raw, real, and unfiltered. Britain is roaring again. Don't look away now.